it's not Halloween. But we're not meeting on Halloween, we meet on Thursday. And besides which, I think my sister will be upset because it's her birthday on Halloween. I'm saying nothing. But good evening and welcome everyone to this wonderful and slightly warmer than expected, certainly inside, Thursday night. It's a pleasure to see you all here and everyone dressed up so magnificently too. Of course, I always keep the camera pointed forward. It's just Tom and myself that's viewing on camera. However, should people want to be seen in their wonderful attire, when we close the service, feel free to come forward, descend upon the frontage, and be seen, and show the world just how enjoyable it can be to come out on a Thursday night before Halloween. And so, thank you all for dressing up. Thank you for decorating, by the way, everyone. It's wonderful. Such a beautiful, beautiful, handsome pumpkin back there watching you. And I'm not going to say too much about what Tony said about making sure that I can't see up that one skirt. Other than that, let's give a big, big welcome to our medium tonight. Now, it's the first time he served us here in Littleport as this church, but I know that it's going to be a wonderful evening. He's even dressed up himself with mother, and I should inform you and warn you that we're dressing up for Halloween. Well, I'll dress up as well, so wonderful stuff. So please give a wonderful, warm, rapturous and uplifting Littleport welcome to our medium tonight, Tom Davison! And I know we're going to have a great night, but of course, we are having spooktastic fun and frolics. But of course, this is a service of mediumship. So let's begin as we always do, by opening this service in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends under your banner of love and hope of friendship, to witness your proof and your truth that life is indeed eternal. As we place this service in your care and keeping, we ask that the veil be lifted and that our loved ones draw close. For all that we do tonight will, of course, be in love, truth, light, and only for good. Amen. Well, friends, of course, it is a Thursday night of mediumship. There's been loads going on, and there continues to be loads going on. It's always a little bit quieter at this end of the month, thank the Great Spirit. But we do have an online workshop on Sunday. It's via Zoom, if anybody's interested, and it's called Connect and Accept. It's £8 via PayPal, or if you don't do online, just see Mother at the end, and she'll stick you on the list. But of course, that is from 10 until 2 on Sunday. However, of course, next week does include something else that it's one of those things that you wish you didn't have to say. It's one of those things that you wish you could have avoided saying and not need to say. But on Tuesday, we will, many of us as a group, be going to Grimsby for the funeral of Reverend Alan Sutton. A friend of this church, a friend to many in this church, and my mate. And I know that it is going to be a difficult time. But I also know that Alan would have found tonight hilarious, uplifting, and joyful, and frankly, an opportunity to take the mick, especially me wearing a dress. So please, in spite of the time and in spite of the difficulties, always remember that laughter, love and compassion brings upliftment and joy and helps us through the darkest time. Friendship brings us through the darkest time. Laughter brings us through the darkest time. Of course, at this time of year, many people dress up. And of course, it's fun, it's a laugh. But not everybody enjoys it. Some people find it offensive. I don't usually get on my high horse for one of my addresses. But for a number of years, there's been comments about we don't like Halloween. It should be called Jesus-ween. It's an American thing that was tried to be started off. It should be Jesus-ween, not Halloween, because all of this pagan devilry is absolutely wrong. But this shows a lack of understanding of the core basic tenets of any way of life. Because Halloween literally means All Hallows Eve. In other words, the day before All Saints' Day, which is a proper, recognised, known, understood and followed Christian tradition. But of course, we all know that the real roots of Halloween are things of a spooky nature, of a spiritual nature, of a special nature. In fact, if you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you'll know that Spike says that none of the real ghosties and goonies come out on Halloween because they can't be doing with the commercialism. But the true tradition, call it Samhain, call it Halloween, call it what you will, is about celebrating the time of going from summer into winter, of celebrating, of reaping what you have sown throughout the year, about coming together and banishing the darkness. So I personally think that if my mate Joshua Carpenter were around right now, he'd be sitting in one of those chairs, dressed up as Dracula, or as the Count who likes to count, He may even have come dressed as a clown, or one of the two dwarfs that's, one of the seven dwarfs. We've got some dwarfs in the room. He'd have made up the third. Because getting together in common cause to bring light where there is darkness, to bring people together through adversity and struggle, is what spirituality is all about. And it doesn't matter how you do it, so long as you follow one golden rule. Now, I know one person will be thinking that I'm about to quote something that I normally do, but I'm not. I'm going to quote a very, very similar phrase, but a phrase that is appropriate at Halloween. And it harm none. Do as you will. Because that in itself is one of the most important tenets that anyone could follow in their life. But I do know that when it comes to getting through difficult times, there ain't nothing like a giggle, there ain't nothing like a laugh, there ain't nothing like friendship, and there ain't nothing like remembering the fun. And my God, my friends, we don't have to make some memories here. And in our lives, and in every part of our life that we're involved in, we make memories. And those memories are beacon lights of joy. So create another one tonight. Carry it with you every day. Move forward in love, light, laughter, and truth. Because I know that Spirit really, truly wants that for us. And I also know that as we go into Tuesday, when we go to Grimsby, be you coming to bang a drum or read a prayer, I know that he will be watching and thinking, at least you don't look like an idiot today. And at least you left your dress at home. Because I know that he will be watching over us, having a laugh with us, and encouraging us to be filled with laughter in each and every moment of our days. So friends, God bless you all, and thank you for listening. And of course, hello to everyone who's watching online. When I get sat down, I will share your comments. But now is the time in our evening where we have a reading, which is quite often a writing too. And of course, that was a tradition that Alan followed, and it's now seeming to be taken up by someone who likes to do some writing. Of course, if anyone would like to give her a week off now and again, please feel free to volunteer yourself for a reading. But this week we are going, she sits there nodding, yes, please. This week, of course, I'm going to ask Eunice to come forward to give us this week's reading. And of course, everyone that's at home is going to see what she's dressed up like as well. So, ladies and gentlemen and friends, and everyone in between, I give you Eunice.
I start my journey just setting out, a lot to learn, of that no doubt, a path to follow, which one to choose, mistakes to make, no time to lose. Forgive me, for I am but young. So off I start on my merry way, I learn about life, day by day, the ups and the downs and so much more. I hope that someone's keeping score. Forgive me, for I am but young. I'm taught to read and taught to pray, but then it's life that gets in the way. Other lessons to be learned, so much joy, some fingers burned. Forgive me, for I am but young. Now I'm reaching higher years, I've learnt from life, shed many tears, but what a journey it has been. I hope I've learnt from what I've seen. Forgive me, I was but young.
Excellent. It'll be on the Facebook page at some point in the next few days. Excellent stuff. Well, friends, thank you to Eunice. Beautiful as ever. And and so now is the time in our service where we have healing. And that means that would all of our healers, or anyone who wishes to provide healing, give healing, please make your way to the back of the hall so that you can see the hands go up. Anyone who wishes to have some hands-on healing, please stick your hand up and Tony will give you more instructions. If you want healing, keep your hands up until someone puts their hand on you, or at least stood behind you. But this week, our healing, of course, is going to be led by Merlin. Tony. So, please welcome Tony.
You did come in a bit more.
I think that's
A bit more. We're not on the screen. A bit more. That's it.
Thank you very much. Healers, you get yourself sorted. Just a few words, as ever. Central to this way of life and our belief is the need and practice of healing. It transcends all walks of life. So, Great Spirit, we ask that you send your power to our healers here and send your healing to those not here but in need of healing. For when we gather together and healing is asked for and given, the power of our healing is multiplied exponentially. Healers, you may begin.
And thank you all of you who asked. See you again.
Indeed, thank you to Tony, thank you to our healers, and thank you to everyone else. Thank you for that. Well, friends, that moment has arrived, and I feel like I've forgotten something, because we are massively ahead of schedule. But I'm sure you'll be pleased about that, because it means that we get a few minutes more with our newest friend, Tom. So, in a moment, I'm going to hand over this evening to him. Should he come to you, of course, please answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know, because let's face it, we're all blooming nosy and want to know what's going on. And should we need to evacuate the building, of course, our exits are here, here, and through here. If the curtains start twitching, the chairs start floating, the table grinds across the floor, we're not reenacting an episode of Poltergeist. But we will be leaving through that door. You can follow me, I'll be the one out the door first. However, that don't happen. Well, it might tonight, you never know looking round. I'm kidding, I am kidding, I really am joking. It's funny in a world where you have to joke, remind people you're joking. But nonetheless, please have a wonderful, uplifting connection with the world of spirit, your loved ones and helpers. And please, let Tom know that he is loved, and we are grateful for his presence as we say, I hand over this service and give it up for Tom Davison.
That's been distracting. Welcome, it's lovely to see everybody here tonight. I'll just tell you a little bit about how I work, because all mediums work differently. Is there anybody new that's never been to a spiritual thing before? No, we're all fully qualified. Good. So the way I work, I see spirit, I hear them, I feel them, they give me taste, they give me sensations. They really use all of my senses. Normally what happens is they stand right behind you and they wave at me. That way I know who I'm going to, so I am a direct medium. I do normally know who I'm going to. In case you couldn't tell from my accent, I come from St. Albans, and we say things very strange in St. Albans. So if I tell you that your grandmother's not wearing pants, I mean she's not wearing trousers. You have to forgive me for that. So let's just see what's going to happen. What I ask of you this evening is to look up to the heavens and call forward a person that you want to speak to in spirit tonight, in your mind, not out loud. And we're going to try and work with those people tonight. Like Nick was saying, if I come to you, I need to hear a yes or a no. And if it is a no, then let me know, because I'll go back and get more information. I always tell people, I'm not going to argue with spirit because I need to sleep, but I will go back and get more information for you. So let's just see where we're going tonight. Could I come to the lovely lady there, please? Yes. Let's just see who this is. I had a lovely lady and gentleman that were in the car with me on the way here. And as soon as I saw you, I knew they belonged to you. Well, actually, I knew you belonged to them. So I'm just going to see why they were here. Do you know, the two of them were bickering and arguing the whole time in the back seat of the car. He was telling her to do one thing, and she was telling me to do something else. And the two of them together were in both ears. And I have a really small car. So they were really loud. I'm just going to see what information I can get from them. One thing when I'm working with spirit as well, I can't stand still, and I get real fidgety. There's nothing I can do to stop that. So I let spirit take control, and they do whatever they want to do. This lovely lady, she needs you to know that her mobility is back. So I do feel that she would not have been mobile towards the end. She had difficulty with her feet and her hips and her legs, actually. She's talking about the pain. Actually, I do feel that the pain, there's some pain here on the earth plane, here in my lower side, if that makes any sense with you. It's funny, the way they work with me, I get a feeling on the inside of my body if it's with spirit, and on the outside of my body if it's with the person here. And it was on the inside first, and then it went to the outside. So I know she's just acknowledging, and she's sending healing for that. I need to bring some healing in around a gentleman around you as well. Just know that she's bringing in healing. I feel it's a bit of emotional healing, if that makes sense, and a little bit of physical healing as well, but she's bringing in more emotional. The gentleman here, I do feel he's coming through on a father's vibration, so I do feel that this would be dad that's there or granddad. The parents and grandparents always come through on the same wavelength for me, because my parents and grandparents were my parents, and they use my experiences when they're working with me. So let's just see why she's come forward. Do you know, she's saying that she is so proud of you. She couldn't say it enough when she was here, if that makes sense. And she just says, tell her I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And you know, over in spirit, they are the same people as they were when they were here. So I know that she's very reserved when she was here on the earth plane. I'm not sure that I could actually go up and give her a big hug, because she probably would punch me if I tried. And you know, I know she's been here before as well, because she says, she's looking around the room and she says, what in the world is going on with these people? I don't quite think she gets it. She's got a lovely laugh, though, and a lovely smile. Oh, she needs you to know she has all of her teeth back, too, so I feel she didn't have all of her teeth. Yeah, and she says that these are hers this time, that she didn't she didn't have to pay for them. So much love coming from her. I'm asking her why she's come forward now. She just needs you to know that she's there to support you, and all you have to do is call on her and she will come forward. Especially when you're feeling low, give her a call. And she says, it's kind of funny saying that now, because you would have come to her when you were really, really low when she was here. But she said, when you're not really, really low, still come to her. And the gentleman, do you know, with the gentleman, I do feel he had a more open heart, if that makes sense, than she did. Not that she was closed down, but he feels more open to me for some reason. So he just wants to bring his love in and give you a big hug as well. He's just touched you on the shoulder there. So, and when he touched you, I felt chills go all down the side of my body here. So I know that's his calling card when he comes in. So I'm gonna leave their love and their support with you. Thank you. Let's just see who else is coming in now. Oh, there they go. Sorry, I talk to myself a lot too. There's nothing I can do to stop that either. Just gonna see where I'm going. They're flying around now. Do you know, it's very distracting when spirit fly. Can I come to the lovely lady there? Yes? Is it okay to work with you? Yes? Let's just see who this is. I just saw this is spirit circling around, and they just dropped right down on top of you. So I'm gonna see who this is, see if we can work with them. Do you know, they're talking about there's so much change going on around you at the moment, lots of transition. And it's funny because you're wearing the vampire thing, but they're showing me bats above you right now. And the bats for me is not because you're batty. Well, actually, she's just said, possibly. But it's more about that transition, going from the one thing into another. And it's a lovely lady that's stepping forward that wants to work with us. And she said, you're finally learning who you want to be when you grow up, if that makes sense. And it's strange her saying it that way, but she says, gosh, you've gone through so many transitions over the time. But that's so funny. She's just said sort of like Madonna going through all of her transitions. There's another little lady that's standing there with her. Really small lady. But I get the feeling from her, this is either a grandmother or a great-grandmother that's coming forward. But there's a lot of really strong ladies in your family line, a lot of powerful females. Yeah. I'm just asking them why they've come forward that way. Oh, they need you to know that they're all there supporting you. All of your ancestors are there supporting you. They're lined up right behind you. There's a gentleman that steps forward as well, and I feel that this gentleman, he was very regimented when he was here. He liked things to be done in order. 1, 2, 3, not 3, 4, 7. Very, very regimented. And he was quite a reserved gentleman as well. And I feel with this gentleman, step back. I feel with this gentleman as well, he was a disciplinarian. You were made to behave with him. My father stepped forward, and when my father comes in, if he's wearing his belt, that means I know that spirit person wouldn't mind using the belt. Back then it was just being made to behave. Today it's probably child abuse. But he comes through, and he's still the same person that he was, when he was here. If I said that he was coming in saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry for this and sorry for that," then you wouldn't even recognize him, because he never said, "I'm sorry." I do feel that he's bringing in love the only way he knows how to, if that makes sense. And he would definitely punch me if I reached up to give him a hug. Oh, and the lovely lady, I can smell, it smells like a roast dinner cooking. So I know she would have cooked like lots of food for lots of people. That was the best time for her. When she was in the kitchen cooking for people, taking care of the family. She says taking care of the family was absolutely the most important thing that she could ever do. Aww. She's just reached up here and she's giving me a kiss here on the cheek. So she needs to give you a kiss. And she still watches you. When you're sat there brushing your hair, she's right behind you. And she's telling me that you've seen her before as well. When you see her, she's a flash of white light. And she says you see him from that side as well. It's funny because I've just seen her flash me, not like that. Not like that. I saw the flash coming from this side. She said if she came to you as a shadow, that it would just frighten the life out of you, and she doesn't do that. She's talking about the noises in the house as well, so she's talking about the floors creaking, the stuff blowing through the house, and she said that when you're in there, sometimes you'll just be sitting there by yourself and you feel like somebody's just passed through you. Well, that's them. That's them. She's got a sister that's over there as well, or a sister-in-law that's over there. And she just says, she says, we're all here. We're all here. The gentleman just reached out to shake my hand too. That's weird. This was a very respected gentleman, if that makes any sense. People outside of, the community, he was respected. Inside, in the family life, he was sort of feared, if that makes sense. Because I do feel with this gentleman that it was hard to judge him. It was hard to, one day he would be all happy, smiley, and then, 15 minutes later, not happy, smiley. And sometimes it felt like with him, you didn't know where you stood, if that makes sense. And I do feel a sense of regret with him for that. But that's the way he was, and he's, that's just the way he was. Well, actually, he says that a lot of his friends were that way as well. So it wasn't just him, you know. I think the older generation were kind of hard. So I'm asking them why they've come forward for us tonight. Oh, what is that? You know, she's just given me a little box here, and I've opened the box. And I can see there's a ring inside that box. It's not like a wedding ring, so it's not, you're not going to be getting married soon or anything. It's funny, sometimes they give me the ring, and it's the ring that's coming off. But I do feel this ring has to do with her, so I don't know if you have it. Actually, I feel she doesn't know where that ring is, if that makes any sense. What they do is they show me, if they show me jewelry and it feels like they're looking for it, then it didn't go to the person that they wanted it to go to, or it's just missing. So I do feel that's the situation with it. It didn't go to who she wanted it to go to. She used to have a really small necklace as well. I feel that was taken by somebody that shouldn't have had it, if that makes sense. I do feel it has to do with something in the family as well. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's given them back to you because she wanted you to have them. Yeah, and she's given me a daisy as well. So I need to give you a daisy. Actually, do you know, she's just taken a daisy and she's made them into daisy chains. I don't know if y'all did those, but where I grew up, we would do daisy chains and put them on like crowns and necklaces. And she's given you a crown to put back. Because she says your crown fell off and she wants you to put it back up. And with that, I'm going to leave their love with you. Thank you. Let's just see where else we're going. Jerry, can I come to you, please? I'm going to have to come to you because your dad is not going to shut up. He's screaming. He's literally screaming in my head right now, saying, Jerry, come here, Jerry. Let's just see what he's got to say. Oh, well, do you know what? You've had some really big changes recently as well. He's talking about opening that heart up, if that makes sense. And he says that you were a bit closed for quite a while. Protected. But do you know what he wants you to know is you've got to make sure that you keep that open, keep that flowing, bring those walls down a little bit, because you're keeping the good stuff out too. And he said, you've done really good lately lowering those walls. Oh, do you know there's a rat? I've just seen a rat run across the floor. Is that a rat? There's like a mouse thing that's run across the floor over there. So I don't know if that belongs to you or if you did something to it, but it's yours. It's yours. And there's a cat chasing it as well. So I know that there's a cat in spirit, a little dark one. Oh, and there's a little white and black one coming through too. Oh, you have a lot of animals in spirit. Yeah, they're all coming in the door. Yeah, some big dogs too. Okay. Well, I mean, you know, all of our pets can come back and greet us and follow us around during the daytime and at night. And I feel that big dog is constantly around, jumping up on the furniture. Because he wasn't really allowed to very much when he was here. And he says now he can, and he does. Come back down. And you know your uncle is there and he's safe as well. Do you know I get so much love coming from uncles? There's an uncle that's over there. Actually, there's two uncles in spirit. And one of them looks a lot like your dad. I mean, they even have the same like sideburn things here. So much love. Do you know that this gentleman used to hold your hand when you were younger, when you were smaller? And he said he held your hand then, and he's holding your hand now. He's there supporting you while you go through this. The two of them are not going to let anything hurt you. You know that. Oh, don't do that. Do you know your dad has just stuck his face in that window right there? That was creepy looking. And you know, it's funny. You said pulling faces. That's what he's doing. He's got his tongue stuck out on the window up there. That's just so weird. You know, he brings so much love forward, so much love for you as well. He's so happy that you were able to move forward, if that makes sense. He says we could never move on, but we can move forward. And he feels that that's what you've done is move forward, you know. And you know, he leaves little gifts for you everywhere as well. He's showing me, why are you showing me nuts? You know, he's showing me leaving nuts and flowers and, you know, like pecans, like the whole nut thing. Coins, he's leaving stuff everywhere for you. And, you know, he said, half the time you don't notice them. And, you know, he tries speaking to you as well. He says she never listened when I was here, so I don't know why she would listen with me over here, over on the other side. You know, I want to say there's something to do with your electrics in the house as well. So just know that he's having something to do with that. It's just weird because all of those electric sockets up there, I've just seen them all light up. So there's something electrical that he's playing with. But do you know, he would have done that stuff when he was here. He would have played jokes. He would have played pranks on people while he was here. He would have stood behind that refrigerator door as you go to close it and boo. You know, he'd be right there. And you know, I feel he does that still. So the next time you close the refrigerator door and you feel somebody standing there, just say hi because it's him. It's him. He's giving you a lot of healing on your lower back as well. You know, I feel that now that he's in spirit, he's a marvelous healer as well. So I know he brings lots of healing around the whole family. Much love. I think he's done with me now. He's saying much love, much love. He's given both of you white roses as well. And you know, for me, white roses they're better than red roses because red roses are about, you know, the love, the marriage, and stuff like that goes away. But white roses are that pure thing. And we used to always give my mother white roses. So to me, they're something that are really special. And he's given me those to give to you. So I'm going to leave his roses and his love with you. And Uncle as well. He said, don't you forget me. So I'll leave their love with you. And now he's out of my head. That's good. Because he had some very colorful words too. Okay. Let's just see where else I'm going now. Oh, there's just so many of them right now. Gotta come to you, my dear. Let's just see who this is. There were just so many of them popped up around right here. There's about 15 people standing there. I'm going, I can only do one person at a time. Oh, do you know this lovely lady standing right there behind you? She just reached down to give you a hug. Do you know there's another lady that's stepping in? This lovely lady, I don't feel is a relative as she steps forward. I do feel an illness with her, though. I feel that this must have been a cancerous condition with this lovely lady. And give me more. Give me more. Do you know, I'm not sure how old she was when she passed. She looks like she was in her 30s, 40s age range. And you talked to her. You were friends with her, she says. I'm getting the month of March for birthdays and anniversaries. And I get the month of November for birthdays and anniversaries. And I do believe that this lovely lady just wants you to know that she's there for you, like you were there for her, if that makes sense. She had a lot of pain towards the end. But all that pain is gone. Anything that she had here on this plane, on this level, just went away when she crossed over. She's giving her love. And the other lovely lady that comes in, I do feel that this is either Mom or Nan as she stands there behind you. And you know, she's wearing a dress, and it's got what is that? Yeah, it's like an apron thing that's around her. And you know, her hair, she would have had permed hair as well. And she used to use those old school curlers to rollers to roll her hair with. I've just felt, it feels like she's just taken my head or all of my hair and pulled it really tight. And she's showing me that she wore those, and I'm going, well, I don't have any hair. Please don't do that. You're going to pull it all out. What's left? And you know, her hair, she always liked to look nice when she went out, if that makes sense. Well, she liked to look nice in-house too, but she preferred to be, you know, just to the T's when she went out. Not that she was fancy or anything. She said I wasn't, you know, all bling. She was just like to be nice to go out, presentable. I can smell flower perfume with her as well. I'm not sure what that is. It's in a clear bottle. She shows me the bottle, but you got to show me the words, the name on it, not just the bottle. But it's a flowery smell, not like a synthetic smell. And you know what? You would remember when you went through her drawers. That sounds weird. You know, in the kitchen, you pull the drawer out, and there'd be towels in there. That smell, the flower smell that would be, yeah, it's just very strange. I can smell it in my grandmother's. And you know, even after she passed away, you could still smell that smell. Even when you took everything out, you could still smell that smell in the drawers. Oh, you took care of her as well. She said you helped protect my dignity. And she said you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do all that. You know, she hated being in the hospital bed. Absolutely couldn't stand it. She said it made her so fussy. She was fussy about everything. She said it was cold, or it was hot, or it was hot, or it was cold. And, you know, you put a blanket over her, and then she'd be too hot, and she'd be throwing it off. And she always had cold feet, though, because she just made my feet really, really cold. But, you know, she couldn't stand socks. She didn't like, what are you doing to my foot? She didn't like socks for some reason. Oh, and you know what? I don't know if you leave shoes just at the door or just outside the door, but check for spiders. Yeah, I've just seen spiders crawling in shoes, so watch for that. I'm not putting my shoes by the door again. Not after what she's just shown me. Lots of love coming from this lovely lady. But you know, she was so peaceful, this lovely lady. I get that feeling of calmness with her, you know, and she said, when I crossed over, it was peaceful. She went to sleep here and she woke up over there. That's how she feels. And do you know what? I know that her body was giving out, if that makes sense. Things were shutting down. And I know that there was a lot of pain there. And you know, she said, that's a weird thing to say. She said if she had known how wonderful it was over there, she would have left here a lot earlier. Which that's a creepy thing to say, but that's what she's telling me. Yeah, and you know, as soon as she woke up over there, they were all right there with her. There was a gentleman that took her hand and crossed her over, so she didn't go over there by herself. Her dad crossed her over. Dad was standing there as well. A lot of men were there when she crossed over. A lot. Oh, and there's a black dog that's over there as well with her. I do feel that it would have been when she was younger, because I'm seeing it looks like a wooden fence. Well, the dog was over there with her as well. And do you know, with this lovely lady as well, I feel that she must have had they would have had chickens as well when she was younger. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the birds. But they're all over there with her. And you know, Dad wants to say hello as well. So I know Dad is over there. I've just heard him say, I'm Dad. Don't forget me. Don't forget me. Lots of love and support from Dad. Very well respected. And do you know, with this gentleman, he must have had a military connection as well, because I see the military with him, but not as regimented, if that makes sense. Yeah, she was the one that was more regimented than he was. She used to have to clean up after him all the time. And you know, it's funny with her, she liked things to be in order. I don't want to say that she was like OCD or anything, but you would have had coasters up under drinks, and you would have had, you know, all of her knickknacks would have been in order. And she would have known if you just turned something. Do you know, I feel with her that she shows me a picture. She's moved that picture slightly that is in your house. And she said, you haven't noticed it. So have a look when you get home. What I see is it's like a gold frame. I can't see who's in the photo, but she says, I've moved it, and she hasn't noticed. And it's been that way for a while. And you know, when you went in her house, she would have been able to cook a meal for 15 people, and all the dishes would be done. Like, before she even put the food out, all the dishes would be done. She says, you're not quite like that, are you? I think I'm asking her now if she'll just pop over and help do your dishes. You know, she shows me my sink, and my kitchen sink is full of dishes right now. And I'm saying, well, either go to hers or mine. Calm energy. Why have you come forward? Oh, do you know, she just wants you to know I'm here. And when you feel that warmth on your back, that's her. That's her. Because she's just come up to give me a hug. And I just feel so much heat right here. That's definitely her. And she's giving you kisses as well. So I'm gonna leave her love with you. And know that all you have to do, all we ever have to do is call their name and they will come forward. I'll leave her love with you. Okay. Could I come to you, my dear? Yes? Let's just see who this is. I saw a cat that just ran up and just ran and sat down there next to you. So that's who I'm going to work with for now. It says meow. Let's just see who the cat's going to bring through for you. I don't think the cat ended very well, if that makes sense, because it's kind of squashed. Well, it's popped back up now, so it's okay. It's he says, I'm fine. Good kitty. It's not like Pet Cemetery or anything in here. Okay, who's that? Oh, there's a gentleman stepping forward. I'm going to see who this gentleman is. Ooh. Do you know, as this gentleman comes forward, I feel he couldn't breathe very good towards the end, if that makes sense. I feel like I've just been hit in the chest with him. I'm not sure if this is like a heart attack or if it's like a lung condition, but he's really struggling to breathe at the moment. He makes my body really hot as well. It's either that or menopause, one of the two. Come on. Do you know, when this gentleman was here, I do feel that he would have had like a higher body temperature than most people, if that makes sense, like constantly sweating. And I know that he was a really, really hard worker when he was here as well. Slow down. And do you know, with this gentleman, he wanted things done right and right now, if that makes sense. He didn't like to wait around for things. And I think that he's wanting to bring a bit of that to you at the moment, if that makes sense. A bit of the drive and determination to get it right now. Not that he's saying you're lazy or anything. He's just saying that he wants to give you a little bit of a push. There's a gentleman around you as well that he's not wanting to just give a little push. He's wanting to give a kick up the backside, if that makes any sense. To get him up and out, if that makes sense. I'm just asking this gentleman who he is, because he's just talking to me and hasn't even said who he is yet. Come on. Oh, and do you know, with this gentleman, he hated doctors. Absolutely could not stand them. And do you know, he would be ill and wouldn't go see a doctor. And I do feel that he was much more unwell than anybody knew. Why are you giving me that? Yeah, he was much worse than people knew. He didn't even know how bad he was, if that makes sense. I think he wants to bring a bit of healing in around Mom as well. So I know Mom must still be here. No, who's the lady? Who's the lady? There's a mom that's around you that he needs to bring healing in for, if that makes sense. I don't know if there's a sister, but he says Mom. Okay, because he just keeps bringing Mom healing. Yeah, well, you know, in spirit, they see us all as family, so partner's mom would still be Mom. Yeah. You know, he's making me aware of, I feel with this gentleman, there was quite a lot of, he must have had a fall or something towards the end, because he's making the floor feel very uneven for me. So I know when he was here, he would have had trouble. I feel really dizzy with him as well. I do feel when he finally did go to the doctor that they must have given him a lot of medication, because I'm getting that dizzy feeling that you'd get with medication. But I know that he also liked a little drink every now and then too. Well, a bit more than every now and then, actually. And you know, he brings so much love through. He was a person that you could just go talk to, you know, just sit and chat, and everything would be absolutely fine when you finished. He was a listener. He says, you're a bit of that. You're a bit of a listener. Oh, actually, okay. I know where you're going. He wants you to be careful with that, though, because he said you listen to everybody in both ears constantly. And it's like you take on their problems and you try and solve them. But he said you've got to let other people solve their problems. Just solve one of your own. Because he said sometimes you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning worrying about somebody else's problem. And he wants you to ease up on that a bit. He wants you to ease up on you as well. He says that you're harder on yourself than anybody else around you, that you're so much more critical of yourself. And he wants you to let up, lighten the energy. And you know, Spirit hears you when you talk to them as well. They hear all of those thoughts and all of that healing that you send out for other people. They hear that. And I know that there's a lot of anxiety going on around you at the moment as well, because he shows me there's 3 tornadoes that are flying around your head. So I know that there are like 3 issues that are trying to be resolved. And I do know that he's trying to help with those. Do you know, he said you got to trust you more. Trust your instincts. Yes. He said that you have such a big heart that you will see somebody walking down the street and, you know, you just get that feeling. It's like, oh, no, that's not, I don't want to be around that energy. But then you will turn around and invite them into your house, and you'll give them 20 pounds and you'll cook them a meal, and they'll turn around and steal 100 pounds from you and take half the kitchen with them. He wants you to be a bit more careful and trust you, trust how you feel. Because he said your intuition's always right, but you're not trusting it. He's giving me the thumbs up as well. I don't know why, but I have to give you thumbs up. He says, you didn't get to speak to him before he crossed over. He's trying to make me a bit emotional. But, you know, he said we didn't need to say anything else. Everything was said. You know, you loved him, he loved you. That's all that was needed. But he didn't need anything else. And he said it was all absolutely fine. The funeral was fine. Everything was fine. You know, he said, I didn't want anything special. I'm not saying that. He's being creepy. He said you could have just thrown my body in a bag and out the back. That would have been fine for him. And he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop saying that. Like, don't say that's bad. That's terrible. But he's just saying that it was more than he could have ever wished for. I do feel that somebody must have kissed him before his body as he was laying there. He's laughing about it because he says, I wasn't there. He said, I was gone. I was already gone. He felt the tears as well. There's another lovely lady that's missing that should be here. That he's just talking about as well. So I don't know if that's a sister or who it is, but give her my love too. Okay. Well, and it's Halloween. He's just giving me a black rose to give to you too, so I need to give you a black rose. I don't know why. I'm just asking him, what does the black rose mean? And he said that it's just, he said, that's you. It's 100% you. Because I'm going, but yes, she's dressed for Halloween. It's not. And he said, no, that's her. That's her. And you know, he shows me now that black rose has little diamonds around the ends of the roses too. So I'm going to leave all his love with you. Thank you. Okay. Let's just see what else is going. Could I come to the lovely lady next door? Yes? Let's just see who this is. Oh, do you know, I feel there's a lovely lady stepping forward next to you. She's not very big. And you know, I keep hearing Granny, so I don't know if this is your grandmother that's coming in, but she's coming in and she's calling herself Granny. But you know, I don't know if y'all even played. You know those little games that you used to play like this with your hands? She's doing that. She says, we used to do that. She used to do that with you. I didn't even know y'all had that over here, which is weird, but. Do you know she's watched you grow into a beautiful, beautiful woman? I do feel she's been in the spirit world a little while, if that makes sense. And she says that she's just watched you grow and grow and grow, if that makes any sense. There's a gentleman that comes in with her as well. Very reserved gentleman that's coming forward now. I don't feel that it's her husband. I feel that this is the other side of the family, if that makes sense. Very reserved, though, with this gentleman. Who's that? Yeah, you know, the lovely lady is just making me aware of, gosh. She's bringing in quite a bit of healing around you at the moment, but it's more emotional healing, if that makes any sense. Because I can see this energy that she's just bringing in and putting this ball around you. And do you know she's bringing the pink ball in around you as well? All you have to do if you feel worried or anxious is imagine yourself in a pink bubble, and that's her. That's her. You know, because she says that there's a bit of anxiety around you at the moment as well. Has to do with family as well. You know, family can be the worst. Absolutely the worst. You know, it's sometimes better to be, you know, beat up by somebody on the street than family, because then it's personal. I do feel that there have been splits in the family since she's been over in the spirit world. Really bad splits. You know, like, oh. You know, it's so funny when you're working with spirit, you feel things. And I just felt the vibrations from that up here. At least it was nothing really flying. Yeah, she's talking about. Yeah, she's just talking about those splits in the family since she's been over, and she said she really hates that. But you know, sometimes you do have to make a cut, you know. And I do feel that she's saying with you sometimes you may have to make that cut, you know, and cut people off. And you know, she's talking about you hearing spirit as well. So I know you must hear spirit. there's a man actually that I can hear talking in my ear right now. And it's almost like what they're saying is you can hear this gentleman when he's trying to speak to you in the ear. And it's sort of like hearing like white noise or tinnitus. And that is actually spirit. It's not just, your ear stopped up. So she wants you to listen just a little bit harder. I don't know if you sit in a circle or not, but if you sit in a circle, it'll help make that clear and you'll be able to speak to that person. Come on. I need to give you April for birthdays and anniversaries. And I need to give you June and July for birthdays and anniversaries. But there's a person that I normally don't do names because names are, everybody's got a George, things like that. But I hear a May. There's a May somewhere. Because my aunt's name was Rosie May, and they just keep bringing that to me. So I don't know if it's the Rose or the May, but it's one of the two. And something to do with Woods as well. So I don't know if that's a surname or if it's a place, but hold on to that Woods. Lots and lots of love coming from her. She's just given me this big bouquet of flowers to give to you, so I need to give you these flowers. And she said she's giving them to you because you wouldn't just go out and buy them for yourself, if that makes sense. And she needs you to know that they're the ones from Marks and Spencer's, not Sainsbury's. They're the good ones. They're the good ones. And she picked them out herself. There was something to do with a rose bush at her house as well. Oh, it's not there anymore, the rose bush. She's just shown me it being chopped. It was chopped down, so it's not there anymore. So much love. I'm going to leave her love with you. Let's see. One more. Let's just see what Could it come to you, my dear? Let's just see who this is. My partner's just stepped in. There's a gentleman that steps in with you. He's just put both of his hands on both of your shoulders there. He's bringing you a lot of healing on this side because I can see it just vibrating there. This gentleman has so much love for you, if that makes sense. You took care of him as well. He says you did everything. You did everything for him. Cooked, clean. I don't know why he's singing that song. You did everything for him. He's so grateful. He's so grateful. He said, I loved you so much. I love you so much. He's holding your hand. You held his hand at the end, and he's holding your hand now. And you talk to him as well. He says you talk to him, and he talks back. And he said you believe it when you hear it. You don't think it's just your mind. You know it's spirit. You know it's them. And that's a marvelous gift when we know for sure that it is spirit, because we question ourselves so much. You'll hear something, you'll think, oh, was that just me? Was that just my memory? No, it was him. He shows me coming to you in your dreams as well, because lately you've had so much going on, all around you, that the connection hadn't been clear enough for him to come through. So he says, I come to her in the dreams. He wants you to be very careful with your footing. This winter, if it snows, just be careful with your footing. because he's showing me steps and he's showing me ice, and he just says, he wants you to be really, really careful. So much love, much love. I'm going to give his love to you. He's just given me red roses to give to you as well. Oh, and he's given me sunflowers as well. So he needs to give you the sunflowers. I do feel somebody must have put sunflowers on his grave or something like that, because he shows me these flowers on a casket. So lots of love. I'm going to leave his love with you. He's not done. He's not done. Oh, okay. When you feel him sitting in the bed next to you and on the sofa, he said that is him. He's with you all the time, not creepy or anything, but he's with you. He's with you, watching you all the time, making sure that you're safe. So I'm going to leave this up with you now. Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Davison. Oh, thank you. I'm just going to mix them up. You end up forgetting it's there. Considering how big it is, quite easy. Well, I'm sure we can all agree what a wonderful demonstration of evidence, strong, solid proof of survival, upliftment and laughter. And I'm still trying to work out whether it's an East or West St Albans accent. But I'm sure we can all agree that that truly was an awesome demonstration of mediumship, and what a wonderful night. So from all of us, thank you to Tom Davison. And Amanda Seal says hello. Hello, Amanda. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm a bit flustered. I can't remember what I was going to say. Yes, I can, of course. Who's the medium next week? Oh, there's an old, from a new friend to a very old friend. We've got Carlos Galeana back next week. I'm glad you did better than his first time here, because he got hit by a deer. So he didn't quite make it. But I do know that Mum will be jumping on you before you leave to get you in the diary again. Don't pull a face like that, Mother. I think we all know it's more likely me that do that sort of thing. Especially wearing a dress, darlings. But of course, we are back next week with Carlos Galeana. There is, of course, the workshop on Sunday, connecting and accepting, if anyone is interested. And of course, thank you all for coming out, for dressing up, for getting involved, for joining in. Thank you, of course, for the decorations. Give them a round for the decorations, you know. And of course, thank you to Tony for staying up the ladder and doing as you were told by them when it came to the decorations. And of course, for the healing too. And wonderful reading again, Eunice, thank you. I keep looking round, and there's some, it's really, really strange, because I keep seeing a dwarf that I recognise that is least the dwarf in the whole room. There is irony that I think that she is actually probably the tallest person in the building right now, dressed as a blooming dwarf. And then one of the shortest people as well. I've got to be honest. You try and behave yourself. You try and not make a fool of yourself. You try and do good. But when you're sitting there getting ready to do an opening prayer, and all you can see is this dwarf who's got their hat pulled right down across their whole face. No, I'm not going to start yet. But it's the humour and the memory and the love and the laughter. And it is these times, my friends, where we create these memories together that matter the most. So that in 100 years' time, when we're all up there and people are still gathering
at Littleport Village Hall, and in other places where you are all involved. For instance, Tuesday nights at Crick Willow and Monday nights in March, the Brasa Club, of course, and all these other, and St Albans, because I know you are involved with St Albans Church, and all these other places that we go to. We will share these memories, and there will be hundreds and thousands of spirit people gathered saying, we were there watching that week that Merlin gave healing. We were there watching that week when the 8th dwarf Dawn was created. We were there when the Count was giving Nick the countdown. One mistake. Two mistakes. We will have all of these memories, and they will have these memories to look back on as well, because they are stored on the internet for as long as it exists. So thank you to everyone who has been watching at home. And thank you all for being part of an extended family that makes so much difference to all those that are a part of it. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So let us close this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you truly for the opportunity to unite under a banner of love, of hope, and of friendship. As we go out into the world, may it be cold, we take with it warmth. We take with us that warmth, the upliftment, the joy, the passion and friendship that we share here this night. Let us take with us the message, of course, that life is indeed eternal. Let us take with us out into the streets and the houses and the places where we meet that message of the continuity of life. And let us take with us that message that we are indeed one. No matter the name, no matter the colour, no matter the person, no matter the background, no matter the beginning, we are one. And let us take with us that message that we can unite in that compassion and in that truth. And so I ask for a blessing to be placed on each person here present and the families and friends that they represent until we meet again in your name. Amen. And that, as they say, ladies, gentlemen, friends, and all in between, is that we will, of course, return next week on Thursday, a little bit more subdued, perhaps. But what he doesn't realise is that Barry's going to get pinned down before he comes in next week and dressed up as a dwarf on his own because he said no to uni. But once again, thank you all. And a big, final, joyous, raucous Littleport thank you to our newest friend and our medium this evening, Tom Davison. We're going to have a raffle. We're going to have tea and coffee. We're going to have chats. But to everyone at home, from everyone here, after 3, 1, 2, 3, good night. And God bless you all at home.